The promoters of agroecology say that it is at once a science, a way of looking at agriculture, and a social movement. As a science, it is concerned with the study of the relationship between agricultural crops and the environment. In other words, the management of natural resources. It is also a way of practicing agriculture, which seeks to respond holistically to the demands of on-farm, community, and landscape production through the optimal use of natural resources, and which make agriculture economically, environmentally, and socially sustainable. Small-scale food producers are identified as key actors in generating, testing, refining, and disseminating information and knowledge of agroecology. As a social and political movement, agroecology criticizes conventional or so-called industrial agriculture, demands greater autonomy for food producers and consumers, and seeks to increase the number of practicing farmers and government support. But agroecology is also controversial. There are those who say it will solve the problems produced by intensive agriculture, and those who say it will cause more problems than it solves. Let us try to discern between these two opinions and strike a balance. What are the benefits of agroecology? The recognition that natural balances are delicate, that land, water, and living things deserve to be cared for, that under certain conditions, agriculture behaves like mining, harvesting without caring for the land and leaving it unusable for generations to come, and that conventional agriculture leads in some cases to the excessive use of pesticides, which are toxic to varying degrees, or fertilizers, which can pollute aquifers if used in excess. Agroecology has succeeded in exposing the problems of conventional agriculture, but can it offer all the solutions that are needed? The most important question is, what would happen if it were the predominant method of farming? According to several studies, organic farming is 20% less productive than conventional farming, and 15% less stable from year to year. Why then do proponents of stricter views of agroecology, such as organic farming, claim that they are more productive? Organic farming does not allow the use of mineral fertilizers or synthetic pesticides. It works well where there is plenty of organic matter available, which depends on sufficient moisture, and there is no doubt that it improves soil structure and biodiversity. But it does not produce as much as conventional agriculture. Why, when there are multiple studies that have calculated yields, do so many people think that organic farming is more productive? First, because of insufficient measurement of yields. The studies that talk about yields in organic farming compare yields prior to the introduction of agroecological improvements, plus compost, with an earlier situation on poorly tended soils. But they do not compare yields of organic farming with conventional farming under the same conditions, in which case organic farming is 20% less productive, as we have seen. On the other hand, because the lower yields are partly due to the fact that few agroecological projects do soil analysis to see if the compost input compensates for the nutrient extraction. Every time the crop is harvested, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium are removed with the agricultural product. These need to be replenished, and we need to know how much is needed. Another reason is that aesthetics is our downfall. Who does not feel the aesthetic pleasure of a terrace field or a well-ordered vegetable garden, rather than paying attention to the results and not to the beauty of the images? Does the plot produce enough to live on all year round? Aesthetics make us insensitive to the work involved in the agroecological approach applied in poor countries. How much work does it take to transport the compost to the last terrace? How much work does it take to sow, weed, or harvest? Mechanization makes it possible to avoid some of the excess work, but few agroecological projects are concerned with mechanization. Mechanization increases the amount of land a family can cultivate. With hoes, 1 hectare is already a lot of work. Promoting mechanization is good and needs to be done more. And NGOs would do well to stop showing pictures of peasant women happy with a hoe, which is unlikely to lift them out of poverty, and show them on a tractor instead. In conclusion, what would be the consequences of an unthinking application of agroecology? Let's define unthinking as discarding the support of conventional methods when they are necessary. The first and most serious consequence is for climate change. Less productivity per hectare means more hectares deforested to create more arable land. Secondly, when we do not take care of nutrient replenishment, especially in arid areas where not enough compost is produced, we are degrading the soil we think we are going to improve. We must always replenish nutrients with compost if possible, but if there is not enough compost, we must supplement it with chemical fertilizer. And finally, be careful with the advice we give. The farmer sees as a dangerous thing the advice of one who does not have to earn a living through the result of that advice. In agriculture, it is not easy to find the right solution that makes the need to care for the environment compatible with the need of farming families to make a living. Let us not fail to seek this balance.